Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Stacy. This is going to be my September reading wrap up, and it's going to be pretty quick because I didn't read a whole lot in September and I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on these books. So yeah, let's just jump into it. The first book that I read was The Rose Arbor by Rhys Bowen. This one I gave 4 stars, but I might actually bump it up to 4.5. It was really, really good. It's a historical fiction mystery novel, but it's mainly about some children who went missing after their parents put them on the train to ship them out of London during the Second World War. So the kids were being sent off to the countryside so they would be, protected from bombing. Some kids went missing. They didn't make it to their destination. And then there is a woman in the 60s who is a journalist, and she is trying to get to the bottom of what happened. She's trying to figure out what happened to these missing kids and also figure out this mystery of her own identity. I thought it was so well done. I was so invested, so interested in both the things that were going on. It had likable characters. I learned a lot about that part of the war. I did know that kids were sent out of London like that to go live in the countryside. It's like the kids in Narnia. It's exactly like that. But the way the whole program was done, wasn't that great? So yeah, a lot of parents didn't know where their kids were going until months later when they would get a postcard from their kids saying, hey, I'm over in, Suffolk or whatever. Like, I'm out at this country house. And a lot of the kids were sent out to farms where they were put to hard labor for work. And some kids were gone for 2 years. So these are some things that I did not know about that part of the war, and I really appreciate when books help me learn things like that. So yeah, I loved that book. It was clean. Rhys Bowen, I'm not sure if she is a Christian author or not, but I know a lot of Christians read her books. She has another, a cozy mystery series. I think maybe 2 cozy mystery series that I haven't read yet, but yeah, she's great. The next one I read, I actually own, and that is The Cider Shop Rules by Julie Ann Lindsay. And this is book 3 of this series. What is it? The Cider Shop Mystery Series. This was so good. I gave this 5 stars. And it is really hard to give a cozy mystery book 5 stars because they're typically kind of shallow and, just you're reading it for the cozy setting more than anything else. But the characters in this were so great. The storyline, the mystery, the continuation of the story. I loved how there's a romance aspect to these books, and it's really not forced at all. It's way more natural than it happens in a lot of books. And I really loved the amount of fall in this book. I just wanted to be drinking apple cider the whole time I was reading this. I wanted to be sitting in front of a fire, watching fall leaves. It was fantastic in the way that she described fall. It's exactly what I wanted for a fall read. This was so good. I really liked the first book in this series too. I haven't read book 2 yet. I did want to mention that. So I didn't read book 2, but that didn't hinder me from understanding what was happening in this book at all. So if you skip book 2, I think you'll be okay. The next one I read is one that I listened to, and it's one that I talked about in my Cozy Mysteries for Fall video, and I kind of wish I didn't because there was no mention of fall in this book. It's called No Escape Clause by Sophie Ryan, and the cover makes it look like it would be a fall time book. It looks like a fall cozy book, but there was nothing in the book that would lead you to what season it was. You would have no idea what season this story was taking place. That made me really sad. The actual story was okay, but I was confused. I don't know what number it is in this series, but I do feel like it's a book that it would have been better had I read the first book at least in the series to have a better understanding of what was going on. There is a lot of characters in this book, and I was getting lost in the sauce with who is this? What is the purpose of this person? And it's about a woman who owns a antique store, thrift store, secondhand store kind of place. And I thought it would have more to do with that because I love thrifting. There wasn't a whole lot of that in there. It more so focused on, there's a group of people who rent out a space at her store, and it's kind of like, I think they're private detectives or maybe amateur detectives. I wasn't really sure. But the people rent out a space from her, and when things happen, they try to solve it. And so it was more about that. And the mystery they were trying to solve was this woman comes to them saying, my dad is in prison, but he was falsely accused. He didn't do the thing he's in jail for. Can you help him get out? So that was the story. No fall involved. It was okay. The mystery was okay. But I did deduct a star for no fall because the cover was very misleading. The next one I read was Yours Truly, Thomas by Rachel Fordham. This is the first book that I have read from her. She is quite popular in the Christian community. I will definitely be picking up more books of hers in the future. This book was a really neat concept. It's historical fiction. I want to say it was like early 1900, like 1901-ish time frame. And it is about a woman who works in the lost letter department for the government in DC. Letters that get sent and can't be delivered for whatever reason. There's something wrong with the address or whatever. The letters would go to this department, and then the people would open the letters and read them and try to decipher clues to figure out how to get the letter delivered. Fascinating stuff. I am like really into this. So this woman gets a letter, and it is from a man who is trying to like profess his love and sorrow and regret for a woman that he had hurt, you know, trying to make up for that. And this woman feels so bad for him and for the other woman, and she does all she can to get that letter delivered to the woman. Things happen, and she ends up going to the place where the man is now currently living. He's not in DC anymore, so she goes to where the man is, and they develop a relationship. So I don't want to give too much away, but it was very good, very well done. Lots of faith in this book. It was a beautiful read. Highly recommend it. Next one was Brentwoods Ward by Michelle Greep. This one, what was Brentwoods Ward about? Okay, this one was about a woman, a young lady who doesn't listen to rules very well, always sneaking off, doing her own thing. And her dad is going away on a trip, and he hires this other man to come and watch the daughter to make sure she doesn't get into all kinds of trouble while he's gone. And while he's off on his trip, something happens to him, and there's a mystery. There's so much of these stories I can't tell because I don't want to give, spoilers, but there is a mystery, and there's lots of faith in this book. There is a character in this book, the man who's coming to watch her, his sister is very faith-filled. She's a great character. There's a part in this book that was very upsetting, and I cried over it. So yeah, I really like the book. I gave it 4 stars. I think there are 2 more books after this one. I don't know how they're related though. They might not have the same characters, but I would read those in the future. And the last one that I finished was In the Shelter of Hollythorn House by Sarah E. Ladd. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This one is clean historical fiction. I don't think there's any faith elements in Sarah E. Ladd's books, but they are definitely clean. This one was about a woman who had to marry a man who was abusive and awful. This is historical fiction. I want to say it took place in the 1800s. And in the very beginning, he dies. And so she is kind of like free of that abuse and of that situation. And so she wants to take her baby away to her family home that she has inherited. And this home is on the moors. And if you guys know me, you know I love anything set in the moors. That is like my buzzword. So she goes off to this dilapidated house in the moors, and her husband's brother, because bad things that her husband was doing, feels like her life and the baby's life could be in danger. And so he hires men to go protect her, watch after her. And one of them happens to be her first love. And so things get rekindled, and yeah, there's a big mystery in this as well. It's a historical mystery. And like I said, there's no faith elements, but it is totally clean. Really great story. Perfect setting for this time of year. This would be a great book to read in the fall on like a cold, dark night. Got your candles going, got the gothic-y vibes going. Perfect book for that. So yeah, I'm big on atmosphere. Characters cannot be so great. The plot could be not so great. But if the atmosphere is high, that's a good book for me. But all the things were great in this book. I really loved it. So I recommend that book. So anyway, those are all the books that I read in September. If you've read any of these, let me know what you thought about them. I hope you guys had a great month, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.